The mic off to this dapper gentleman right here in front of me. How about a big round of applause for the best man tonight, Mr. Saba Khawari.
Alright, good evening everyone. If I can have your undivided attention, please. I spent a lot of time writing this, so I'd like for you to enjoy it. Thank you. I've been writing this for like 10 years. Alright, so, and I promise I'll make this quick, because I really gotta go to the bathroom. I understand a lot of people flew in from out of town. As we mentioned, California, Oklahoma, Arizona, Canada, Jalisco, Massachusetts, even Iran. Thank you all for coming. It's amazing how far people will travel for a free meal. It was delicious though, right? Yeah! Hey, special shout out to Shiraz for cooking the food tonight. If you end up using them, make sure to tell them Salma referred you, that way I can get a free meal. On a more serious note, I want to talk about our mom, who's probably having her own celebration tonight, probably 10 times bigger than this. She always wanted Samir to get married. That was her biggest wish. She loved him dearly. He was her pride and joy. I was always a jokester, but Samir, he was truly something to be proud of. He was an excellent student with all A's, member of the Honor Society, active member of the Baha'i community, volunteered at the hospital, played the French horn, and got to go on ski trips with his band. He even studied abroad for a semester in Europe. While the most I did was work at Jack in the Box, Starbucks, and AT&T in order to make sure I always had access to free food and free phone service. After my mom fought cancer for about a year and went through chemo and radiation and nothing worked, we took her to MD Anderson Hospital in Houston as kind of a last hope to see if there were any clinical trials she was eligible for. During that visit, they told us she was not eligible and that she only had about 2 months left to live. After we received this news, my brother and dad stepped out to use the restroom, leaving my mom and I in a waiting area all to ourselves. I remember being in that room and asking her, "So Mom, you have 2 months left to live. This is crazy. Is there anything you want to do before you go? Like go skydiving or swim with dolphins?" She smiled and said, "I'm fine. I just want Samir to get married." Shiva, you are the answer to our prayers. And believe me, for the last 10 years, our family has said a lot of prayers. We are so blessed we found each other. Shiva, you're smart, you're funny, you're supportive, you have such an incredible heart, and you're a wonderful person to be around. And might I say, you're an absolutely gorgeous bride tonight. So for those of you who don't know, I am Samir's older brother, which explains why I've been married for 10 years and have 3 kids. That is the common misconception that I get tonight. So, no, for those of you who do know me, I am actually Samir's younger brother, and only younger brother. I'm 5 years younger than him, yes. Zadam zile posh. That means I slipped under him and just like found a wife, got married, and anyways, here we are. So, I'd like to tell you a little bit about me and Samir's relationship. We met back in the 80s. We were best friends, and we always got along. Samir was part of the Baha'i Youth Workshop, which many of those friendships are still here tonight. Let me hear you make some noise. Samir took me everywhere with him. He would take me to all the gatherings and youth firesides and social activities. He would always pay for my food and made sure I always had a good time. I never once heard him complain about having to take me anywhere. He is the reason why I have so many older friends, and also why I am wiser than most people my age. He was the first person I tell them anything to. I call Samir for everything. Advice before a job interview, advice with my relationship, advice with my kids. Even though he's not married and doesn't have any kids, he always has great advice to share with me. Samir is one of the kindest and most thoughtful people I know. For example, when my son Ashton was only 3 years old, I called Samir and told him I wanted to give him a haircut myself for the first time. So he was like, okay, wait, I'm coming over. When he got to my house, he convinced me that we should buzz Ashton's hair. That is one thing my brother does to me all the time. He'll come up with this so-called great idea that I should do, and 9 times out of 10, I'll always end up doing his great ideas. Because I know it'll be funny. So we buzzed Ashton's head, and it looked terrible. We jacked it up pretty bad. So when my wife Sana got home, she immediately sent us to the hair salon to get it fixed. There have been many times when Samir will call me and he'll just start laughing, and then I'd start laughing, and that would go on for several minutes, and I don't even know what we're laughing about. Then once he catches his breath, he'll share a funny story that just happened to him. We always crack jokes and have fun together, and I'm glad to see that you two do the same. I do want to let you know, that part was written, because I did want to make sure I get those points out. And I do want to speak from my heart though real quick. I do truly love my brother a lot. Like, this guy has done so much for me, and I'm so grateful for you, Samir. You've done a lot, and you do a lot for everyone that crosses your path. And I know many of you who are here as well have probably been touched by Samir in one way or another. And Shiva, I'm so happy that you guys found each other, because you're both picky as hell, and you found each other, and you're perfect for each other. So this is like a match made in heaven. We are all so happy that you're together. I can't wait to spend time with you guys as couples, and hopefully you'll give me some nieces and nephews and some grandchildren, and it's going to be awesome. I really look forward to it. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, because I really got to use the bathroom now. Samir, Shiva, I just want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes by Abdul Baham. Where there is love, nothing is too much trouble, and there is always time. Love you guys. Love you.